Good morning, everybody. Sorry, we are a little late here. If you are in Washington State, you will know it's snowing here right now, which for us is sort of not a normal thing. But I think that makes this project even more fitting. Today, our How Do I is how do you embroider on ribbon? Because it can be really fun as you're decorating those holiday packages to customize it with some fun language, right? You can do something fun like, say, Love Santa. You can embroider on wide ribbon like this. This is just that gross grain ribbon. Or you can do it on really narrow ribbon like this. You can see it says to Andy from Addie. And instead of having to write on the package or use a little gift tag, you can actually embroider right on the ribbon. So ribbon is really fun. It can be a great way to accent. You could even embroider on some ribbon and put it in your child or granddaughter or niece or nephew's hair or something. You can do all sorts of fun things. So let me just show you how easy it is to embroider on ribbon because it only takes a couple of minutes. Yes.
We already have a question. They want to know, what machine are you sewing on today?
Today I am sewing on the Brother XP3. And so what I'm going to show you is going to work on most machines. There are a couple of things that I will show that are pretty awesome that this machine has that I will show you, and I will let you know if it's something unique to this machine when I'm showing it. Okay, so I'm going to set my packages down over here. And we have I've sort of got us sort of set up here. So the first thing I have done is I have hooped some Perfect Stick stabilizer. So if you're not familiar with Perfect Stick stabilizer, or if you are familiar with it, you'll know I use it all the time. I really love this stabilizer. It is a tearaway stabilizer, but why it's called Perfect Stick is because it has a sticky side. So when you purchase it, one side is soft and one side has this hard, it feels sort of like wax paper or something on the top of it. And what you do is you score it and you peel away this top layer, because this top layer is what's keep protecting the sticky side. So if I was to peel this up here, this is always where on screen, let's see how easily I can peel. But this is the sticky, maybe. It's not going to work right now because I'm under the pressure of the camera and my nails are very short. But this top piece peels. There we go. The top piece peels. So this is sticky on this side, soft on this side, and it's a tearaway, which is really great. So what I've already done here is I just used my edge of my scissor and I made a line here, and I peeled away all of the paper parts. So now this is nice and sticky, okay? So then we're going to use this stickiness I have different types of ribbon here. We are going to use this stickiness to lay my ribbon on. Now this particular hoop is really helpful because it has all of these little etchings across the hoop here, right? So when I'm laying my ribbon on, I'm just going to line it up with two of the same etchings, right? If I line it up there to this one here, lay it flat so it is straight. And if I was really gonna make a finished project right now, I would want this to be on a flat surface, right? You're always gonna have more success placing things when you're on a flat surface. For the purpose of our video today, this is going to work. But you can see now because it's sticky, it's gonna hold it there perfectly for me. Then maybe if I wanted to grab a narrower one, I would do the same thing. And I might just lay this guy right here. And you're going to want to think about where you want to embroider the, where on the ribbon do you want to embroider your message, right? Do you want to do it like how we did this guy, where we want it to be like a label in the middle, okay? Then you'd want to measure how much ribbon you would need, right? Maybe test it on your package and then line it up in the middle section and it'd set your ribbon on the hoop in the right place. If you want it on a tail, like how we did on this one, I did it more on the tail, right? We did this on the tail. Then, I'm moving faster here than my camera person. Can't keep up, sorry, I will try to do a better job. Then you're gonna want to maybe put your tail here, right? You're gonna wanna think about that before you start embroidering on it, if that makes sense. But you can use any sort of fabric ribbon. The fabric ribbon like this is going to be more forgiving than if you're using like a satiny ribbon or something that's really slippery. This sort of ribbon is just going to be, is going to make it a lot easier. So then what we're going to do is we're going to hoop our hoop here, slide it in, lock it in place. I'm going to move these things off of my embroidery bed because I'm sure many of you have done this. I'll just start knocking things over as soon as that embroidery unit starts moving. And then we are going to go into our screen here and actually set up the lettering, okay? So I'm going to go to embroidery. And most embroidery machines are going to have a function like this, where you go to embroidery and then you select what you want to embroider. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to my letters here. And if, let's say, I wanted to do the wider one first, that says Love Santa or something, I'm going to pick, you can see there's lots of fonts built into this machine. And you could pick any font that you like, right? Now you can see all of them here. I think maybe I use that font, but maybe this time we're like, oh, you know what? I think I really want to use this font. So you would select the font, and then you can see all of your letters here. You have uppercase, lowercase, you have your numbers and symbols, you have more symbols, you even have a whole bunch of different types of letters. So you have all the things you might need from a regular keyboard. So we're going to start with the L, and right away we can see, well, that's going to be probably too big, right? So I'm going to go to medium here. You can see for these fonts, there's large, medium, small. And so I am just eyeballing this at this point, but I think that's probably about the right size. Then I'm going to go to lowercase and type in the O-V-E. I'm going to go over here, grab a comma, but you can see there's percentages, there's dollar signs, there's really anything you might want right there. I'm going to add a space. And then I'm going to go back to my letters here, and I'm going to grab a big S for Santa. Go to my smaller ones, my lowercase letters here. And then I'm going to go to set. Now, the first thing you're probably thinking is, Carmen, it's not going the right direction. How's this going to work? Well, we are going to go into edit and make this work out for us. So we're going to go to edit here. And I am first going to rotate this because I need that whole thing to rotate 90 degrees because I need it to be in a vertical line to go on the vertical line of my ribbon. Now, if you had a more traditional embroidery machine, if you don't have this machine, or if you don't have a Solaris, what you're going to do is you're going to move you would move your design where you wanted it, where you about where you think it's going to be. You would go okay, and then you would go to embroider here, and you are going to trace around. Oops, sorry, Carrie. Let me just hit the camera there. These embroidery hoops, I tell you, they move. You're going to trace around the area to see if it is landing where you want it to be. So if you didn't want it there, then you might go okay and then go back to move and move it down. But in this machine, the XP3 and the Solaris actually, and this would be any XP and any Solaris, they actually have a projector built in. So I'm just going to actually turn my projector on, and it's going to tell me to wait a second. And then it's going to give me this bright light. So where this box is on my screen is where my projector is showing me. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to move it so I can see more spot on to my design. And now I can see right there exactly where my design is. And then right in this screen, I can just move my design where I want it. And I'm like, oh, that looks pretty centered. I'm happy with that. Then I would go to OK, and then I would embroider. So for placement, the projector is just a super fun thing. So then now if we wanted to embroider this, we would just hit the go button, and it would just start embroidering. And it is really that simple. So it's going to go through here. Oh, check and rethread. It looks like it's not threaded quite right. So we'll get that fixed. You would just, let me just show you how easy this machine is to thread. Why not? So we're just going to slide this here. We're going to take it up and over and around. And you can see it has all the numbers right on it. And around and down here. And then my very favorite thing is this needle threader. I just hit this button right here. And then voila, my needle is threaded. And then if this really happened at home, you are going to want to go to your plus and minus feature right here. And you're going to want to go back. So you could go back to the beginning of the color. You could go back 10 stitches just to make sure that you're really getting that whole area. And then we just lower our presser foot and then start embroidering. And it will pick up right where we left off. which is really, really handy. So then this would embroider, and I'm actually just going to, Carrie, maybe watch the embroidery for a second. I'm going to grab this hoop right here. So we will stop this, but it would just keep going. And so you can see here, I've done that on this one here in the same colors and everything. And then you're just going to peel this off. And you can see this is where the tearaway comes in. And you can just take all this tearaway stabilizer off the back. And you can get as fussy, you can get as particular as you want with that. You can peel all of the little pieces out, or you can just peel a little bit. It really just depends on how you want it to look. You can trim all of those stitches on the back. You can trim any jump stitches if you have them here. And then you can get this guy, you can trim this here, and you can get this tied around your package exactly how you want it. So that is pretty fun. So now I'm going to cut these threads. And we're going to clear this design out. And I just want to show you the smaller letters and how that works too, just so you can see it in a different way, because smaller letters are a little bit different, partially because they're just so tiny. So we're going to go back to home here, go okay. And the reason why I cut my thread is because I knew my hoop was going to move again. I didn't want to drag my tail around. I'm going to go back to embroidery, go back to the lettering here. And you can see down here on this machine, these two are my small stitches. So now if we were going to type in that same thing to Addie, or to Andy rather, I think I wrote on there. See how tiny it is? 2, and we'll do a space, and then we'll do Andy. And you could, of course, do upper and lowercase. And then you could do, I think I'll do 2 spaces, and then do from Addie. Then we go to set, and then you can see it here, and you can see it up here, so you can see it is to Andy from Addie, because of course you want to make sure it is actually what you the words are right. You didn't accidentally hit like an F or something, right? Some letter you didn't want in there. But you can also go to like 200% or 400% if you want to really get in there and be like, okay, I think that's how I want it to be, because maybe you wanted to adjust the spacing, or you want to do something to those letters. When you are zoomed in with that zoom function, you can actually see them when you're working with really tiny letters. So now we can go to edit. This machine does have some extra functions inside of lettering that would allow you to do extra spacing, or you could choose to array or something. Obviously, we're not going to array on a straight line. But spacing here, you could pull them apart or hook them together more. Sorry, guys, I'm going to grab some water. And so there are some other things here that you can edit. And sometimes with smaller fonts, you have to edit things a bit more because it is just so tiny that you need to have the spaces, enough space that you can read the letters. Does that make sense? The other thing with really small fonts that can be helpful is to use what we previously called micro thread, and now it is called the embellish thread that we have in the stores, because it is a lighter weight thread. And so that also can help you see the stitches better when you're doing small lettering. Okay, so then we say, okay, we're good with this. We go to set, and we want to go to edit here, and we're going to want to do the same thing, right? Where we rotate it 90 degrees, we go okay. We go to embroidery, and now you can see how very small it is. And then once again here, I would probably just turn my projector on, and it's going to show me where that big light is. And then I am just going to move, and you can see how you can just really see that lettering there. It also is another way to make sure that it's saying exactly what you want it to say, and it's going to look exactly how you want it to. And I'm like, oh, that looks pretty lined up. Maybe I want to bump it one more that way. And I'm like, oh, that's good to go. I'd say okay. And then once again, I just lower my presser foot and I would start embroidering. And then voila, you are done, and you can say any fun thing that you want. There's probably tons of great ideas. I would love to hear your ideas of things that you might say on ribbon, but I think there's lots of fun things. You can definitely get more creative than just to and from and love Santa. But those were the quick things I thought of this morning. Do you have a question?
Yeah, someone's asking, is that an embroidery only machine? And how much is it?
So this machine is a embroidery and sewing combination machine. And this machine, you could call any one of our store locations. We do have a special on the XPs right now. We also have the step down from this machine on the website, the Baby Lock version, the Baby Lock Altair. It has some pretty cool features. But the XP3 or the XP machines, those series of machines, the Luminaires and the Solarises by Baby Lock are the only ones that have that amazing projector. So come in and check it out. We can show you at any of the store locations some other cool features these machines have. Great. Awesome. Thanks so much. I hope you have an amazing holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week.